The world stands in need of liberation, my Lord. It still has to feel your power. The blind and the deaf, the dumb and the maimed, all need to feel your healing touch. The world stands in need of liberation, my Lord. It still has to learn to love. There are those who have eyes but refuse to see their inhumanity. The world stands in need of liberation, my Lord. It still has to feel your power. The blind and the deaf, the dumb and the maimed, all need to feel your healing touch. The world stands in need of liberation, my Lord. It still has to learn to love. There are those who have eyes but refuse to see their inhumanity to men. There are those who have ears but refuse to hear the cries of men in agony. The world stands in need of liberation, my Lord. It still has to feel your power. The blind and the deaf, the dumb and the maimed, all need to feel your healing touch. The world stands in need of liberation, my Lord. It still has to learn to.
Hi, praise the Lord, my dear friends. 25th November is a special day for all the women in India and around the globe. International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women is an initiative by UN. According to their recent report, in some countries, calls to helplines to save the women and girl children from the violence have increased in 5-fold. Because of COVID-19, school closures and economic strains, out of schools and out of jobs have left women and girls poorer and more vulnerable to exploitation, abuse, forced marriages and harassment and many other violence. The CCBI Women Commission urges each one of us to join our hands with NGOs or activists or any organized body working for women and girl child and render our service in elimination of violence. Together we can achieve the purpose. Let us begin this awareness program on elimination of violence against women through a dance performed by Jenish Kalko and her associates. children, especially girl children, is in increase. We have Ma'am Pallavi Ghosh with us. She has vast knowledge on trafficking and she has saved many girls from traffickers from all over India. I request Ma'am Pallavi Ghosh to deliver her keynote address.
Good morning everyone, I am Pallavi Ghosh. I am a human rights activist and I have been working extensively to spread awareness on gender-based violence. My core areas of work have been anti-human trafficking and trainings on child rights, women rights. So when you talk about gender-based violence, it's very important to know what are the different kinds of violence faced by women. There are many kinds of violence, specifically physical violence, mental violence and sexual violence. So when you talk about violence, we have to know what are the causes, what perpetuates violence. There might be a lot of reasons to perpetuate violence, but mostly it's about patriarchy, it's power play, it is gender inequality, it is lack of education, and most important thing that one has to notice is the gender inequality that is been prevalent in our society since ages. It's not about a particular country like India or any other country like America. It's prevalent across all the countries of the world. If you talk about the different types of violence, some of the violence I would like to draw your attention on, they are trafficking, they are forced marriage, genital mutilation, rape, dowry, there are lots and lots and different types of violence. Now we need to know that how this violence can be stopped or why it should be prevented. We know that women are an integral part of any society. When a particular section of the society is being inflicted with torture or subjugated with this kind of violence for a long time, it's very difficult to maintain a balance in the society. And if there is no balance in the society is bound to collapse. So we need to be very careful that we try to stop violence as much as we can. How to stop violence? First thing is to spread awareness as much as you can. Stop discrimination at family level. Give equal importance to your boys and girls. Do not encourage rituals that are harmful. Do not encourage harmful traditions. Always speak about the violence that's been happening in your society. For example, if a girl is eve-teased or if a girl is sexually molested, do not think that not reporting that crime will save the honor of the family. Do not do that. Always note that the more you be silent, the more the violence is bound to happen again and again. We as activists, we as social workers, we as parents, we as educators, we as different individuals working in different strata of the society, it is our responsibility to prevent violence as much as we can. Also, we should bring awareness, we should work together, we should collaborate with non-governmental organizations, community-based organizations, individuals, activists. We should all work together to stop all kinds of violence against women. On this day of violence against women, where we are spreading awareness, it's time we speak up, we talk, and do everything we can to make this society free of violence against women. Thank you.
A very good evening to all. Myself, Pansy Thomas, Regional Secretary for Agra Region. I have the privilege of introducing a young budding lawyer. Her name is Miss Marilyn Nagarkar. She's from Madhya Pradesh. A young girl who is fighting and speaking for women. I wish her all success in her future so that she has the strength to fight for our rights. May God bless her.
Greetings to all the beautiful ladies out there. Myself Marilyn Nagarkar, and by profession I am a lawyer, and today I am going to speak on a very important topic, as I believe is the domestic violence. Domestic violence is a global issue reaching across the national boundaries as well as socio-economic, cultural and racial and class distinctions. We all know that we have to do much more to respond to the cries for justice of women and children who have suffered violence. We have to do much more to end the abuses. These are the very horrible abuses. And do you know, every second female or the women in India is suffering from the domestic violence. Have you ever wondered why? I'll tell you. Because in Indian society, or the mentality of the females living in the Indian society thinks that whatever is happening with them, it is in their fate. It is not in their fate or in their destination, it is in their minds. If you are suffering, and to keep quiet and suffer is much more bigger crime than you are suffering of. So, ladies, we are living in 21st century. Come on, we are the educated enough, we are independent enough. So why we are giving the remote control to the men's or any other male to control us? Why? Because now we are self-independent. We are not dependent on anyone. So this domestic violence should be only be curated by when we, the ladies or the we women, can raise our voice. If you are suffering from the domestic violence, you should raise your voice, because there is nothing ashamed in raising the voice against these crimes, because we are the only ones who are promoting these crimes, because we are not raising our voices, and not raising our voice is directly, that means we are promoting the domestic violence. So stop promoting it and start raising your voice against these abuses. And the Protection of the Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 says that any act, conduct, omission or commission that harms or injures or any potential to injure any lady considered as crime. The Indian laws are being promoted or being made to protect the Indian ladies. So everything is in our favor. So why we are keeping quiet and we are suffering? So get rid of this domestic violence and start raising voice against it. In Constitution of India also, it says in Article 14 that there is no discrimination among the men and women on the basis of the race, caste, sex or birth of place, anything. So when the Constitution itself is saying that we all are equal, nobody is greater or nobody is smaller or inferior or superior, then why we are thinking that we are inferior than men? There is nothing like that we are inferior or they are the superior ones. As in the ancient India, it was happened that there was the male dominant society and the males were the kingpins of the house and they were ruling and they were whatever they were doing. But today it's a 21st century and come on, just liberal your minds. The freedom fighters or the female freedom fighters fought for the freedom of ourselves, and now again we are keeping ourselves in the cages of the men. Why? And we are just suffering from whatever they are doing with us. They are torturing us mentally and they are just torturing us physically. Why? We are not made for the tortures. Ladies, don't do it or stop doing it. It's a humble request. And even in the Constitution section, Article 21, it says that everybody has the right to live freely, like liberty, everybody has the right to live. Whatever they, or in whatever thing or whatever way they want to live, you are free to do it. So why you are living in a cage of a man? So keep out of it and start raising your voice. If you are not raising your voice for yourself, nobody can raise your voice or any other can help you out. So if you are thinking that anybody is suffering from domestic violence, come ahead, step forward and start raising voice. Stay protected, stay safe. Thank you.
It's time now to listen to the poems from the members of Women Commission from different dioceses. We have Moli Cherian from Delhi Archdiocese and followed by Manju from Meerut Diocese and Lobo from Archdiocese of Delhi.
नारी है हम, नर को जन्म दिया हमने, सृष्टि के दर्द की आधी भागीदारी निभाती है, नारी है हम। पीड़ित है नारी मगर हारी नहीं, पीड़ित है नारी मगर हारी नहीं, संघर्ष जारी है, मृत्यु से हारी नहीं। नई नस्ल नारी जाति की फिर खिल उठेगी, नई नस्ल नारी जाति की फिर खिल उठेगी, फिर से ये संघर्ष जारी रखेगी। नारी है हम, दूसरे हाथी के हाथों पीड़ित, दूसरे हाथी के हाथों पीड़ित, शहीद हुई नन्ही सी कलियां। बुझ गए वो चिराग तो क्या, बुझ गए वो चिराग तो क्या, मौत भी उनकी प्रेरक बनी इस जंग में। नारी है हम। कुर्बान हुई हजारों बेमिसाल कलियां, कुर्बान हुई हजारों बेमिसाल कलियां, जो उठ खड़ी इस जंग की राह पर। मिट्टी में गाड़ दी गई तो क्या, मिट्टी में गाड़ दी गई तो क्या, वह मिट्टी भी नारा लगाएगी उन्हीं के लिए। नारी है हम। वक्त की परवाह नहीं, वक्त की परवाह नहीं, दर्द का एहसास नहीं, दायित्व निभाती है, दायित्व निभाती है, नारी है हम। सच्चाई की शक्ति हमारी, न्याय की युक्ति हमारी, नारी है हम। वक्त आया है बदलाव का, अब नारी जाति बोल उठेगी। नारी हिंसा और बलात्कार अब से नहीं, नारी हिंसा और बलात्कार अब से नहीं। हम अबला नहीं, सबला है। नारी है हम, नारी है हम।
मैं मंजू आपके सामने एक कविता प्रस्तुत करने जा रही हूँ। नारी पर किस प्रकार से अत्याचार होता है। नारी का करो सत्कार, नारी का करो सत्कार, नारी को करो तुम प्यार, नारी का करो सत्कार, नारी को करो तुम प्यार। नारी जीवन, नारी शक्ति सबके दुखड़े हरती है। नारी जीवन, नारी शक्ति सबके दुखड़े हरती है। करती रोशन नाम ये कुल का, करती रोशन नाम ये कुल का, कुल की दीपक नारी है, कुल की दीपक नारी है। नारी आदर रब का आदर, नारी आदर रब का आदर, नारी आदर रब का आदर। नारी हिंसा छोड़ो लोगों, समझो इसके जीवन को, नारी हिंसा छोड़ो लोगों, समझो इसके जीवन को। तभी तो परमेश्वर ने रच डाला नारी को, तभी तो परमेश्वर ने रच डाला नारी को। नारी पर अत्याचार न कर, नारी पर अत्याचार न कर, कर ले तू सेवा का काम। नारी पर अत्याचार न कर, कर ले तू सेवा का काम। बेटी बहू माँ बहन, बेटी बहू माँ बहन, चारों रूप में महान, चारों रूप में महान। रानी लक्ष्मीबाई, नारी मदर तेरेसा, नारी लक्ष्मीबाई, नारी मदर तेरेसा, ये सब इतिहास बदल डाली, ये सब इतिहास बदल डाली, ये सब इतिहास बदल डाली। कर लो तुम इनका सम्मान, कर लो तुम इनका सम्मान, कर लो तुम इनका सम्मान, कर लो तुम इनका सम्मान।
Good morning. I am Mrs. Belmira Lobo from the Church of Resurrection, Rohini, Archdiocese of Delhi, and today I am going to read out a self-composed poem for all the women of the world. The title of my poem is Why? Why should I be treated so? Why should I be made to feel so low? O Lord, you sent me into her womb to nurture, love, and to bloom. Why should I be treated so? Why should I be made to feel so low? O Lord, I grew to mold others in your light, to pray, beseech, and to help others survive. Why should I be treated so? Why should I be made to feel so low? O Lord, I took charge to bring forth new life, to feed, clothe, and make them stand upright. Why should I be treated so? Why should I be made to feel so low? O Lord, I taught, built the character of my child, to treat all as one and to abide. So why does a woman need to be beaten, cursed and abused, broken, torn and bruised? Let her live and breathe the very breath of life which you have instilled in her being. Thank you.
That the voice of every woman can change the world. We have now Sister Pushpa RGS from Nagpur Archdiocese giving us a message on that the voice of every woman can change the world, followed by Clotilda Topo from Bihar region.
I would like to speak about the empowerment of women in our Indian society. The role of women is vital in building the family and the nation. A family without a woman lives in darkness. Such is the power she holds. Her selfless service to the family can never be replaced. If you want anything, ask a man. But if you want anything to be done, ask a woman. Such is the enduring power she holds. For every childbirth tells her pain. Every time she spends sleepless night for her children tells her sacrifice. Every time she wholeheartedly does all the chores at home tells and tremendous love for her children. For every time she serves her family members without keeping anything for herself tells her other-centeredness. We can go on explaining the beauty of women. Such is the blessing she brings to the family and to the nation. We can just imagine if all the women in the world decide to take one day off, what will be the situation of the family? It will be chaotic. For she brings life to the lifeless, heals the broken-hearted, nurses the sick, awakens the frustrated, empowers the weak, stands for her convictions, fights for justice non-violently, empathizes with the suffering ones. Such are the beautiful gifts she wears on her ornaments. I measure the progress of the community by degree of progress which women achieved, says Dr. Ambedkar. In spite of educations, laws, policies, our nation still lag behind in development because half of the populations in our country remain oppressed. How can any country be developed when half of the populations remains in the oppressive structures? When the women are given equal opportunities in education, in decision making in the family and in the country, equal wages, job opportunities, and especially when they are freed from all kinds of abuses like domestic violence, and especially child marriage, rape, kidnap, acid attack, dowry death, caste atrocities, and human trafficking, and able to walk courageously on the road, only then we can say that the country is developed. Women empowerment in this country is guaranteed by the Constitution of India. Over the decades, India has enacted several laws, especially aimed at eliminating discrimination against women and empowering them to seek equality in every sphere of life. Since ancient times, women in India have always enjoyed rights at par with her male counterparts. Unfortunately, women in several parts of Indian subcontinent were not empowered. The first move towards women empowerment can be credited to British colonial rulers. In 1829, Lord William Bentinck criminalized sati and stipulated several penalties for those found aiding or abetting women to burn themselves alive. Another notable example of Savitribai Phule, a social reformer from Mumbai for underprivileged girls. Savitribai and Jyotibai Phule also set up what can be called India's first center for rehabilitating rape victims. A classic example is Indira Gandhi, the first and till date the only woman to become Prime Minister of India. She was called the Iron Lady of India. In 2018, several top Indian companies are headed by women. Additionally, chief ministers of several Indian states are women. Many activists are women. The Indian armed forces now have female personnel. The empowerment of women is a very important task that every one of us should undertake. This is because empowering women is equal to empowering the whole community and generations to come. There are many ways in which we can empower girls and women, and the task does not solely lay with the government but with everyone in the society and in each of us. Thank you.
आज के समाज में महिलाओं का दृष्टिकोण। महिलाएं सदियों से उत्पीड़ित और शोषित होती आ रही हैं, लेकिन आज वो जागृत हो गई हैं। अब वे चुप नहीं रहेंगी। चर्च, समुदाय एवं समाज के प्रति उनका दृष्टिकोण बदल चुका है। महिलाएं अपने दर्द को हृदय की गहराई में महसूस करती हुई समाज की पारंपरिक समझ को चुनौती दे रही हैं, समाज के दोषों का सामना कर रही हैं। आज महिलाएं एक न्यायपूर्ण दुनिया की मांग करती हैं, जो बिना किसी युद्ध के, बिना किसी संघर्ष के हिंसा मुक्त दुनिया हो। एक ऐसी दुनिया जिसमें किसी तरह का भेदभाव ना हो, लिंगवाद, पितृसत्ता, पदानुक्रम, अलगाव और बहिष्कार आदि से कोसों दूर। चंचलता की दुनिया जिसमें सभी बच्चों के लिए हंसी समावेश हो। सुरक्षा की दुनिया, एक ऐसी दुनिया जहां सभी के पास पर्याप्त और बराबर सुख सुविधा उपलब्ध हो। एक ऐसी दुनिया जहां लोग और सृजन सद्भाव में रहे। एक ऐसी दुनिया जहां देखभाल, पोषण और प्यार आदर्श बन जाए। एक ऐसी दुनिया जहां प्रत्येक के पास अपनी रचनात्मकता, अपनी स्वयं की रुचि और अपनी गरिमा के लिए समुदाय में स्थान हो। आज नारीवाद इन्हीं विचारों एवं दृष्टिकोण के साथ समाज में बदलाव चाहता है।
We have with us Dr. Loniak Marbaniang, retired professor from Northeastern Hills University. He is also a journalist and worked as editor of Meghalaya Times and Maupur newsletters of Meghalaya. Moreover, he was an education minister in the state government of Meghalaya from 1989 to 1990. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Over to Dr. Loniak.
Hello, good day to you all. I feel it's an honor and a privilege to be accorded this honor of talking on the elimination of violence against women. India is a great country where they deify women, but it is a paradox. Because on the other hand, it is so in theory, but in practical, women have been thwarted, suppressed, exploited in all respects. Not only that, even throughout the whole world, in 18th, 19th century, especially when the Industrial Revolution came in, women were not treated at par with men. Salary, they were paid very less. But in 1910, the women, they had a conference at Copenhagen in Denmark in 1910, and there was a woman, very strong woman from the United States by the name Clara Zetkin. She was a German socialist. She advocated for a special day to mark the importance of women, where it stress on the elimination of violence against women. And more than 100 countries agreed and accepted, and from then on we get the International Women's Day, where not only to honor women, but to fight against the violence perpetrated by the male sex against women, be it in working place, be it on the street, social life. So therefore, the stress is really an honor that this really, we feel privileged and honored really that the Catholic Church has taken a role also from the CCBI to see that violence is eliminated. In the workplace, we find women are being harassed, either by the way men look, or by the way they acted, or by the way they treated them. So it is right and proper for the organization in the state and the church to take appropriate steps that such violence does not take place. But what's more dangerous is the domestic violence. Domestic violence. In the year 2002, the Government of India has introduced an act called the Domestic Violence Act of 2002 to eliminate the violence against women. And the church also has taken these steps to see that women be treated with respect. The women who give birth to the human race, the women who take care of the children, would be the future citizens of the country. India, we call our country also motherland. To respect, we look as a mother, but many times we do things otherwise. On the contrary, they rape the women, they jeer at women. So therefore, it is the right of the women to fight for the protection through legislation in parliament in the respective states. And even in the country, it is said that 1/3 of the seats be reserved for women. It is all political talk and nothing materialized. If the women can have proper education, proper representation in the parliament and assembly, then they can air their voice more vehemently. Even in our society, where we pay more respects to the women, it seems to be so, but at home you find husbands being drunk, they beat their wives, they beat their children, and women cannot say otherwise. They cannot say outside. They are afraid, especially when they are depend on their husbands for their bread and butter. So therefore, the role of the church is to say that not only to teach catechism to the boys and girls, but to stress on the young boys that in future they should treat the women honorably. We should remember the Gospel of St. Paul, where he says that women should respect their husbands, and husbands should respect their wives. as Christ respects the church. And the children, we should treat our children so nicely, so they in turn will respect the parents. So therefore, the greater role for a man is to see that he protects not only his wife and daughters and mothers, but he respects the women folk in the society, in the church, and in life. Men on the streets, in the office, at home, they gesture very immorally. So this really is very lewd gesture is an insult to women. This should be taken into task, where the stress should be that such kind of gestures should be eliminated. Men cannot call themselves supreme or superior to women. Now we'll find that women are doing very well in life. So this most important factor is to stress on the value of education on women. If women can rise up and fight for the rights of women, be much better. We have got great personalities. Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India. She was a woman, very tough lady. Sri Mabo Bandaranaike was also Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Her daughter, Kumar Tunggal, also was a Prime Minister, and he did very good. He tried to improve the lots of women. And we find in Great Britain, Margaret Thatcher, she cooperated with her husband. Dennis Thatcher very cooperated with her, and he respected her. And accordingly, she became the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and she was very tough. She was known to be the Iron Lady of Great Britain. So women are doing very well. And in India, we have got so many able-bodied politicians. Even in West Bengal, we've got Mamata Banerjee of the Trinamool Congress Party. She was not afraid, and she's not afraid of anybody. Most important, she not only protected the Bengali women, but she protected the people of Bengal. And she tried to see that women get their dues, not only in the workplace, but also in the legislation. Even in America, they are doing very well now, where they are trying to see that the women are treated, if not at par, at least treated well. And we should remember that this violence against women has been very prominent in the last 2 centuries. Now we should see that they get their dues. In our society, as I've said, women should be respected, where we take the name and inheritance through the women. Our men should be made aware of that through the programs, through the different lectures or different trainings. Then only then we can know how women fear, how women face. And only that, it is the duty of the church that in every office, in every school, in every college, there should be a women's cell. There should be women. Because when there's a women's cell, then the women can say bravely, fearlessly, and air their grievances. Otherwise, in the presence of men, they feel afraid, the fear. They may express there, but when they go home, they may be taken to task. So therefore, the church should start from itself, by having the women's cell or the grievance cell in every school, in every college, or in every function or department that the church has. So if the church can start with a small step in this respect, where we pray also to our Mother Mary with respect, with honor, because she gave birth to Christ, well, how much more we should respect our mothers, our wives, our sisters. Thank you.
Before we conclude our short program, I thank all the members of CCBI Women Commission, especially the Archdiocesan and Regional Secretaries, for your support to organize this program. I thank in a very special way our Chairman, Bishop Francis Callist, for his blessings during our program and throughout our mission. My special thanks goes to Delhi Archdiocese. They have contributed a lot through their art and drawing. And Sunita Machado from Mumbai for the beautiful liturgy in English, and for the Hindi translation by Fancy Thomas from Agra region.
माँ, मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ, मम्मा, ओ माँ, मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ मम्मा। हाथों की लकीरें बदल जाएंगी, गम की ये जंजीरें पिघल जाएंगी। हो खुदा पे भी असर, तू दुआओं का है घर। मेरी माँ, मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ मम्मा। हो माँ, मेरी माँ, प्यारी माँ मम्मा। बिगड़ी किस्मत भी संवर जाएगी, जिंदगी तराने खुशी के गाएगी। तेरे होते किसका डर, तू दुआ